Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Vlad from Writing Leagues with another audio vote. This is for OWL Round 2 between Vammy and Euniqe. And the topic we have here is the view from atop of a set of stairs. Looks like going out to the street. We have a person coming in a doorway. Looks like about to head up, I think. Sort of a grimy street looking picture here. It's kind of like a dilapidated house or something. You can find the picture on the thread in the link below in the description. And so let's get right into it. And the first verse that we'll be looking at will be Vammy. My mind is taunted by terrifying visions. I see a gauntlet of mortifying lesions. Fog in my optics, single-sighted illusions. Boggles even prophets, hiding as a delusion. It preys on my confusion, its blight oozing. My doctor says it a condition, the voices still sing. They tell the conclusion, the man downstairs is king. I prepare for regicide, ready for the monarch brings. He is slaughter personified, yet he unseen. He creates martyr multiplied, neck and bones ringed. I venture where he resides, armed with torch and a blade. He is not inside, not in his porch or his shade. He appeared in the sky, without remorse he invades. He leers and tries to scorch me and deem me slayed. I mirror the flames and ready my weaponry. I blocked the flames and changed my enemy. He tried the same, but he fell immediately. Before morning came, I buried the false deity. Morning came and claims of my activities. They say my ruined memories caused me to kill a citizen. I rue these false summaries and I plead my innocence. I saw the unseen beast, and by my blade its soul was cleansed. I pray these rumors decrease despite their ignorance. So that's not bad for a short piece, my dude. Not bad. Right off the top, I think you had a slight issue with the rhyme there. Mind is taunted by terrifying visions. I've seen a gauntlet of mortifying lesions. Just a bit off there. Could have probably been able to find a different word just to match a bit more in that. I did find a few parts where the wording could have been edited a bit in order to make it a bit smoother. Let me go back and see here. I mean, even little stuff that you could take a look back after in editing. My doctor says it a condition should be its. There was a few similar to that throughout that I had to do a bit slower or sort of pause for to add it myself to make it a bit more proper. Otherwise, I mean, I thought this was a pretty decent piece. You seem to like the theme of the approach that you went here. And I mean, you do it fairly well. What I would like to see is just a bit more effort put in. I mean, I know you do your stuff quick and then sort of forget about it. We need to somehow get you out of that habit, because I don't know, when you're just dropping a quick piece and forgetting about it and not really bothering with editing. I mean, we can suggest things for you to change or things to focus on, but if you haven't sort of taken the first crack at it seriously, or even looked back at it to see what you think could have been done differently, I mean, there isn't a whole lot that we can do that that you'll take into consideration for the next one, you know? I thought the story you told here was decent. I do think there could have been a bit more depth to it. Again, if you had gone for a longer piece here, you could have set it up so that when you came to, they say my ruined memories causing me to kill a citizen. I mean, that was sort of the climax in terms of the wording there. If you had been able to set that up with more descriptive, a bit more depth, once we got to that part, it would have hit a bit harder. As it is, it just kind of happened. I wasn't, I couldn't get really too much into this piece just due to the length and the directness of it. But I mean, it is what it is, so that's what I got for you there. We turn to Euniqe, and we have, alright, I'll start it here. I always wondered what it'd be like, seeing your perspective of the day you decided you'd walk through the door, and what the reason was for. 14. My, it's time to fly into some new shoes. Time to pry the hands clockwise and watch them accrue new views. Counter it and unwind my mind, sympathies everywhere, but rarely used. I rewind to times I had a 9, was getting you silverware, but got cooped. It's sickening, I was riding high, trying to fly to new heights just to help you. I'll ride my pride to a defense. They coughed out an offense, now a cell's where I roost. Grouped up with a clique, thinking back all I wanted was a nation. Willing to nurture my nature to gain my parents' admiration. Thought I'd heard words from the heavens, turned out it was Satan's. I'm preying on some betting, 'cause the pain's springing up from my sinning. Stabbing my bladder, my eyes are leaking in silence, no one's listening. Family's thinking it's easy, do your time, we'll be waiting, but reliving it ain't relieving. So that's a decent start there. That's kind of the opposite of what I was just saying from Vammy's. Not that his wasn't a decent start, but in terms of the depth, this is a bit more how you set up a piece. Just in terms of the descriptive, describing the environment, what's going on in it, was enhanced by those additions. So far, I'm feeling it, dude. 16. Feeling like royalty, 'cause the vines from the tree are raising me up, thorns puncturing my spleen. Watching my enemies feed, blood pooling beneath my feet. Charlie's groveling for shrubbery, I'm watering Eden with a ruby sheen. Cysts bursting, freeing their pressure, my face shining with a disgusting gleam. Juice from the grapes evaporating, sweltering in the heat, forced to hear the screams. Leads pounding through their wrists and feet, spreading from vein to seams. Fellow sinners raised by trees, our destination will allow worms to feed. It's not what it seems, everyone's watching, only one's sobbing, what's that mean? Your breath can be seen, 'cause the hate snows in, covering the grief. Teachers witness that glint and fidget, they recognize it, even if it's brief. But they ignore it, Romans ensure they're punished, don't let the flock console or speak. I think you might have lost me slightly in that second section. I'm taking those numbers that you got here, like 14, 16, 20. I was taking that at age, but that, you can correct me if that's wrong there. But so the first part was very like real life, very present seeming. The descriptive of it. I mean, I guess it didn't necessarily have to be. Maybe I was just assuming on that. Excuse me. I'm not sure why. In my head, I got the sense that first part was present. It was present tense. Like, I rewinded times I had a 9. Was getting you silverware but got cooped. Grouped up with a clique, thinking back all I wanted was a nation. it just seems very present. And then the second part was more historical. Watering Eden with a ruby sheen, juice from the grapes evaporating, sweltering in the heat, forced to hear their screams. Fellow sinners raised by trees. And then the last line, but they ignore it. Romans ensure they're punished. Don't let the flock console or speak. So I mean, that's clearly ancient time with the Romans. So I don't know if the first part isn't present tense. If it wasn't, then it does make a bit more sense in my head. I'm really not sure why I have that the first part is present tense. It just seems like it to me. Again, correct me if that's not. I think I can already see progress from last week. One of the things that I critiqued was sort of the inconsistency between the lines and the long lines, sort of overloading with syllables in a line, that caused the flow to be thrown off a bit. I think you actually toned that down. I think you took at least a bit of that advice, because the flow and the pace of it, and you're a bit more focused on end rhymes, which also carries that flow. So I think this is solid progress from you. 20. I heard your niece turned 3. That's something I wouldn't believe. They say you're unique, but your mother's losing grip with realities. Seed planted by Jesus' peace, so you want to snuff him out with vicious leaves. Extracted for some juice, it'll be a sour treat. Life's not a movie. His stomach slurping up the concoction, another street smoothie. His homies are prowling, searching for your hoodie. They spot you, extend their hand just to greet. You meet the heat from their vengeance and collapse in the fountain. You meet the heat from their vengeance and collapse in the fountain of your homies tilting and pouring their drinks till you're drowning. You can't hear your niece calling your name. She's growing and learning, impacting her future. A day tainted with you leaving the frame, enveloped by heaven's light. Everybody watches, but nobody spake. Nobody spake? What's a spake? That's not archaic literary, past of speak. Well, that's what I figured, but that's some obscure ass shit, my dude. I mean, I get it. I get it for the syntax of that, but I think that was a bit of a stretch. I think it was. That got me chuckling. It even looks weird, too. Look back at it when you get a chance. Just look at the word spake. It looks weird. Alright, so the third part, the last part there, is definitely present tense. So again, the second part did lose me a bit in terms of consistency with the story. That said, I did like the second part content on its own. You kept consistent with the way that you were describing things, describing the environment, while telling the story, and enhancing the story again with that descriptive and the wording. So am a little bit confused at that second section, but not a big deal in terms of that. Overall, again, I thought this was progression from you in terms of your writing. There were some spots that did sound and seem a bit awkward. The transition here. His stomach slurping up the concoction, another street smoothie. His homies are prowling, searching for your hoodie. They spot you, extend their hand just to greet. Those were thrown quite off in terms of not having an end rhyme. You meet the heat from their vengeance and collapse in the fountain of your homies tilting and pouring their drinks till you're drowning. Okay. So it was just that line with the searching for your hoodie, extend their hand to greet. It's just little things like that that could be changed, just to add to that consistency. Having that extra end rhyme in there could be a difference if you were in a close battle. But I do think that might have been one of the only spots that it was thrown off a bit. So again, like I said, that's progress, and I liked it. I liked what you were telling. I liked the way you told it, the descriptive of it. It was pretty direct in terms of the wording and the story. Allowed for me to follow along with it. Again, minus slightly on that second part, but you did bring it back around at the end there. So what I'm taking from this was the 14-year-old sort of hype, about to get some new shoes, riding high, trying to fly to new heights just to help you. So it looks like he copped a charge. Ends up in jail. Yeah, grouped up with a clique. And ends up getting capped at 20. Skipping ahead there a bit on my part. But I mean, so again, it was a simplistic, direct story. Was able to follow it along. No real complaints there. Let's get into the voting. I already sort of have the which way I'm taking this, but you know, so topic, consistency, creativity is going to go to Euniqe. I mean, not that Vammy's wasn't consistent. I mean, maybe a bit more metaphoric to the, or loosely based on the topic. Not holding that too much against you there. I'm kind of going into the creativity aspect. I think it more so came into some of the wording as well, and the descriptive of Euniqe's that was enhancing the story being told. So that'll go that way. Entertainment style is going to go Euniqe. I think probably obvious reasons. I mean, it comes down to like substance as well. Vammy, I mean, I know that you're young and still getting used to this and lazy. If you're actually trying to compete in these sort of things, we're gonna have to break that habit somehow. I mean, if we're comparing here, is basically full piece from Euniqe and half a piece from you. I don't really even need to do categories. I feel like no, I'm actually not. I don't need to do categories, and it's like I'm not trying to come at you, Vammy, but when you half-ass some shit, there's no competition to it. There's nothing to it. It's yo, it is a pain in the ass to spell Euniqe's name sometimes when you're not used to it. Jesus, I'm putting this down in my note, and it's a pain in the butt, my dude. But yeah, Vammy, I get it. I'm not trying to dig at you. You do you, boo boo. This battle is going to Euniqe. It basically would have been every category if I was doing categories. Maybe flow to Vammy just because of the shortness and the directness. I do think in terms of your end rhymes and your schemes, Vammy, you did progress a bit in that. So keep on that. If I can get you to write like a 30-line piece one of these days for this, we'll come back and I'll get you like some in-depth ass feedback, but I can't do that. I can't do that on this piece. I really, I can't. I mean, I want to, but I'm not gonna do it. Euniqe though, consistent, creative piece. I was entertained by it. You did have the slight bit of thrown in emotion. The way you described it and were telling the story, it did draw emotion. Imagery was decent. Again, the descriptive storytelling devices was solid. Again, got questions about that second part. The fuck is going on with that? It's kind of bugging me. I'm gonna hit you up when I see you on about that real quick. Poetic devices, I mean, they weren't really poetic pieces, so that's kind of null. Vocab, spelling, grammar, blah. Flow and pace, both were solid in terms of that. Vammy's due to the shortness. Euniqe, again, progress, yes. That and rhyme schemes, I found you did step that up a bit from your previous. So keep on the same level there and moving up. Again, maybe if you had a bit more time, you could look into just like the little things, like that one, those two lines that didn't match the end rhyme. It's things like that. Maybe throwing in a few more multis, inners into the lines. But yeah, I mean, solid piece, dude, and not a whole lot of complaints about it. And so that's going to be that. Vote will go to Euniqe. And yeah, that's all from me, guys. I hope you keep showing up. Vammy, write some more shit. Write some more. You know, double that. Double what you got, and we'll talk. We'll get you some good feed. And yeah. Alright, so take it easy, guys.